Welcome to another episode of the Mixtape Matinee Podcast. I am your host, Cole.
And I'm Court.
And today we have on a great guest. We got Weston Lenhart on. Welcome on.
Hello.
Welcome on, Weston. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks for your time. For those that don't know, Weston is a local musician in the Salt Lake area. You're in Infinite Coachella. You play guitar in there. And then you also have a solo project called Genki. And you're also involved in Records. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but...
It's close.
Okay, how do you pronounce it?
We usually just say as many R's as you can. I just say like RR Records or R Records, only one, but just spell it with 5. I don't know why,
Okay.
but...
Perfect. No, that's cool. Yeah, that was like one of my first questions was how did that all start? Because I know that it's like you and a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And you guys all make similar music. How did that all start?
It all started me and one of the other guys. His name is Berkeley, but on the label it's GexX. But we were living together in Provo, like right out of high school, just like, you know, sharing a room, super cheap rent. But it was like all we really had in the room was a computer, and we would just make beats every day and trying to figure out. We were all into like underground EDM and rap music and stuff. But then I think just as like our friend group kind of slowly built, it's like that's all we really did for fun. And so our records was like kind of just a way to put it all together and release it. But yeah, mostly kind of started with us two, and then XOXO Meta Girl and CC2K, our other two friends, were also, they all ended up living together in Salt Lake, and it was like same type of thing. It's like anytime we go over there, it's like the thing to do was just to start making music. So kind of made sense to have a way to put it out eventually. And then we've done like a few releases with other people as well, like featured artists out of Salt Lake and stuff too, like OXO or like this guy Jen James, but a couple other hip hop. All right, I don't even know if you can call it hip hop, but like underground trap, I guess, out of Salt Lake.
And so you guys just kind of put out whoever you want, basically, right?
Yeah, it was mostly like it started out as just us, and then it was kind of like whoever we worked with and whoever wanted to come hang, honestly.
Yeah. Now, do you make like physical media of the artists, or is this more just like online distribution?
We have done physical media. Like, I have some CDs, and then like shirts and stuff as well. We've done. But as far as like physical, like listening media, I think I'm the only one that's done CDs.
Okay.
But we've done like merch and stuff, and one of GexX's little brother does like screen printing and stuff like that. So it's kind of, we slowly have some people around to do some things
that are helping you out.
Yeah, little team.
So how did you guys come up with the name of the label?
I honestly can't even really remember. I think it might have just been through a logo. Like we were trying to come up with a logo, and at the same time, I don't know why it was like 5R or 4R because of how many people we had.
Oh, okay.
And then, dang, that's crazy. I can't remember.
No, you're good.
It might not have been through something that crazy, and I'm sure if it is something, then one of them will bug me about it later. But
yeah, that's cool. I will definitely add all of the links to all of your guys' music and then the label in the show notes, so people can go check out their music.
Yeah, it's fun.
As far as Genki, like, how did you come up with the name of that, and then what's kind of the future of Genki so far? I know that you have 2 full-length albums out, and then like a handful of like singles, but yeah. Kind of tell me the backstory on your solo stuff.
Genki came about, I don't know, I was getting into like underground, like Memphis trap and stuff, and there was this one, everyone thinks the word, it comes from well, I mean, it's a Japanese word, I think, Genki's, but it's spelled differently. But then a lot of people think it's out of League of Legends, because like getting ganked or whatever is like, you know, someone dives your lane or whatever. But where I got it though was there was this like OG Memphis tape, and one of the tracks on it was just called like Gankin' Fools. I was like, oh, that sounds so cool. And then I just kind of shortened it to Genki.
Oh, cool.
And so that's where like the name comes from. But as far as the music, kind of that same time period, just like always making stuff with people, and then just whenever I'd go home, just keep making more and more and more.
So
and then
did you make was the electronic like beats, was that like, did you make that before you played guitar, or which came first?
I don't know, because like, I mean, I've been playing guitar since I was like 14 probably. And I definitely wasn't making beats back then. Well, I kind of was. My brother had like Ableton, and I would just kind of dink around on there. But I was mostly doing like guitar stuff. And then I think just the older I got and realizing, just kind of learning the DAW more and learning how production in general, it's like I think beats kind of come naturally as far as like you hop in a DAW, it's like, oh, let me drag and drop, and then all of a sudden you have a song. And it turned into way more than that. But I think it was pretty separate, honestly. And then I honestly didn't really, I think until after I joined Infinite Coachella, I don't think I really thought about mixing them.
Yeah.
Like I would kind of come up with a demo. I'm like, oh, there's not really a place for this. Like, I don't really know where to put this, you know?
Yeah.
It's like guitar, and there's this whole like folktronica thing going on right now. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to lean into that, but
Yeah.
but as far as the beats go, I think maybe I was working more on that stuff earlier, I think, than a lot of the guitar stuff. And then I feel like I kind of dove more into, I mean, I just have been practicing a lot more too, like within the last 2 years. But I think making beats and stuff has like been somewhat more consistent for the last like 6 years probably.
Gotcha. I'm also curious, who's like some of your, I mean, other than the album we're going to talk about today, who are some of your other like big guitar heroes that you look towards?
Guitar heroes, I love a lot. I think one of my other favorites, I mean, this was my other album I was torn between, is like Chuck Schuldiner from Death. I don't know if you're familiar with them
like
at all.
Like the punk band Death, or like
not the punk, but the
metal band.
Yes, I'm like,
Okay,
I have
the metal band.
I have the banner up on my wall. That was the other album I was maybe thinking about.
Oh, okay, cool.
I love him. I love like the classics. I love Van Halen. I think Van Halen is like the epitome of just like everyone's always, if you had a time machine, where could you go? I'm like, I want to go back to the 80s. I want to see Holdsworth. I want to see Van Halen. And like that was just peak, I think, as far as like metal. And just fun too. It's like they capture perfectly just like letting loose on a guitar and
on the guitar,
yeah,
for sure.
I love them. I love like dude, I love listening. I think another big part of like music I love is like Chon, like I don't know if you ever got just like that whole world of math rock is like another thing to be talked about, where it's like they can't, not that they don't improv, at least I'm sure they're improving when they're writing, but it's like the whole idea of just like, all right, this is a crafted song.
This is
how
a
you
structured,
play it.
Yes. Yeah.
But I love those guys. I think that was pretty influential as to like how I like to play. And maybe I'll cut it at those four. But
okay.
I'm like, because I'm thinking of more. I'm like, I can't think of any more. There's a lot more, but then I just start thinking about bands. I'm like, well, I love Maroon 5. No, James Valentine's the GOAT.
Yeah.
No.
Have you always had the SG, or is that kind of a new thing that you have that guitar?
No, that's also a somewhat recent thing. Somewhat. I think I've had it for like 2 years now, but ever since I was a kid, I think every kid like watches School of Rock and is like, oh my God, I gotta get the cool SG. This is rock music. This is what I play cool music on.
Yeah.
But it was also like I love like doing like just projects with my hands and like a little bit of woodworking and stuff here and there, where it's like it was kind of an excuse because I refinished it, and it was kind of this excuse to like, oh, let me buy this thing so that I can spend 6 months on this thing, and a little more just like maybe I tweaked and needed a project or something. But I love playing it. And
so did you repaint it that silver color or
yeah, it's like a natural. I just stripped all the paint off. It was originally just like the ebony black, and then I stripped it and bleached the wood. It's like this gnarly chemical. You just like basically mix like drain cleaner and hydrogen peroxide, and it bleaches the
dang.
wood. It's
Oh my gosh.
it's like gas myself out in a basement trying to like make this guitar white, and then I just like stained it afterwards. So like from afar, you can't really tell, but it is like just the natural grain.
So that's what it is. Okay. For some reason,
Yeah.
I thought it was like a silver kind of chrome looking thing, but that's cool.
Some lighting, I think it does for sure.
Do you have any influences? Like, are there any influences on your music that aren't musical?
Oh yeah, I think for sure. I mean, I think I'm a huge gamer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things. It's like, and I think I think maybe you notice more, or you would notice maybe more in my solo project. Not that it doesn't come out in the other projects too, but just like growing up playing a ton of GameCube games, and yes, there is music involved in that, but I think just like the whole in capturing like the visual matched with the music, matched with art, and matched with like gameplay or whatever. I feel like that's always been like a huge pull. I don't know. I like a lot of clothes. I'm just in the gray tee right now, but I've always been like obsessed with like certain fashion, and I don't know. I'd love a lot of art too. A lot of dark fantasy, like medieval stuff.
Very cool. Very
like
cool.
Frazetta, like stuff like
yeah.
that. And I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff. Not a huge like. I wouldn't call myself a movie guy, but like it's the same thing where there is those certain movies where it's like, oh, this impacted me for real.
Yeah. Or something that kind of scratches something in your brain
Exactly.
that you didn't know was there. Yeah.
And I think I'm a huge anime nerd too. It's like I think a lot of like anime and video games is just like the whole, I don't know, something about it. And I'm sure I could go into specifics, but
Yeah, I mean, even with your with the Genki album covers, those are like influenced, anime,
yeah,
manga,
yeah. And I'm like
manga kind of stuff.
the girls off the cover are like, I mean, if it's like if you know, but they're like literally just girls out of like certain shows I watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like it's pretty direct, like who they are. It's pretty funny.
I don't recognize them, but yeah, that's cool
It's
that
like-
you're using that. But
Two of them are like out of Bleach and whatever. If you've ever seen that
Yeah.
show, but that was a huge show growing up.
Bleach
too.
is cool.
Which
that's
is so
one,
cool.
That's one that I haven't watched. I have kind of dipped my toe into some anime, but not a whole lot. But yeah, I know Bleach. People talk about that one a lot. So
Yeah,
It's cool. I think it's just like the classic shonen. It's like
yeah,
young kid gets a power and all of a sudden he's just better than he's like the most strongest or whatever, but he's got to struggle. It's like
yeah.
your big 3 or 4 animes are just all low key the same story, but but every time I watch it, I'm like crying. I'm like, why does it hit me every single time? It's crazy.
That's awesome. One more question before we dive into the albums. I'm just curious. Remind me again, I guess, how you met. The guys in Infinite Coachella, and then how did it become like you being part of the band? How did that all happen?
Well, there's like, I guess like 2 kind of ways I met them, but I think the OG way that I really got introduced to them was someone made this old like Snapchat group chat when I was in probably like 16 years old or something, and added like 50 people from like California, people from Provo, people from like honestly a couple other places in the country. But
Wild.
it was just called JT Honeys, and I was like, "What?" And I joined, and it's just people spam posting, and it's got like hella lore, like it's all based around like there was this like Utah rapper that was in the group chat that it was kind of this like meme group chat, but anyway, that was the first time I think I ever saw like Eli or Chris, and then like Tom is also in there from Star 67 and Diego. And so it was like all those dudes I kind of knew. But then also my best friend in high school dated one of like Eli and Chris's best friends, also named Chris.
Oh, okay.
And so I think I just like, she would be like, oh, my boyfriend's like in a band. We got to go catch a show or whatever. So it was like, we would go. And I think that was the first time I really saw them.
That was Hobo Sapien or Scrub Oaks?
I think at that time they were still separated, and it was Scrub Oaks, and then I was also friends with Tom separately, and
Okay.
it was Hobo Sapien at the time, and so catching shows in Provo was like kind of her first how I got introduced to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would kick it every now and then. It's like they're homies with the Backhand guys and like
Yeah.
just stuff through that. And then I think how I got introduced to Tate was just I was a huge fan of like Olympic Death and then just catching shows. And the first time I met Tate, I think was just at a show probably.
Yeah.
Or actually, first time I really talked to Tate was I was just like posting riffs on I still do, but it's just like posting a ton of riffs on my story. And then I think Eli had said that he wanted to jam, just responded. And so we met up. He was like, hey, is it cool if Tate comes? I was like, of course. And then I think after one jam session, we were like, oh, this is really nice, actually. I think we should work on this. And they had started because I don't know if they had told you about it before, but Infinite Coachella, the first show I think I ever saw, it was like just Eli and Tate at International with a drum machine. Like,
Yeah. Tate told me about that. Yeah.
which was cool. I was like, I saw it. I was like, dude, this is way cool. And honestly, we're still playing those songs. It's super good. But yeah, I think just after that, and then I think our first show as like a full band was like a Fellowship. I think it's been the same since. But
sick. I'm
but
excited.
I think that's how.
I'm excited for that, for the music to come out. I know that you guys have recorded stuff.
Yeah.
So TBH on when that, well, not TBH, but to be
TBD.
continued on when that's going to come out. That'll be awesome. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I think we're shooting for like end of August. That's what I'm hoping for.
Sick.
But,
I can't wait. Can't wait to hear it.
close.
I've heard a couple of them. Tate has shared
Nice.
a few of them, and it sounds awesome. So we had you come on today, and we had you pick an album. Do you want to tell everybody about the album and also why you picked it, and I guess your history too with the album?
I think okay. So I picked I.O.U. by Allan Holdsworth. And the reason I picked this album, I was torn between a few, but I think with this one, there's just, I don't know, there's something about it in the way where I feel like, specific to him, it feels like his kind of most structured album as far as like, I can't remember how many songs. I think it's like 10.
Yeah,
but
there's eight songs.
8 songs. It's like 8 songs. It feels like they're all very, like, I don't really get very lost. I feel like front to back, it's very
Cohesive.
cohesive. Yes, I think it's his most cohesive. I think that's the word. Because
Yeah.
I think also the further you go into his discography, it's like the classic kind of jazz adjacent thing where it's like they start doing multiple takes of songs and like songs just keep being re-recorded. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's like I think out the gate, I think this was his second album, and it just feels like very. It also feels very of the time. It's like one of my favorite like time period. I think it was like 82, where it's just like, I don't know, something. There's magic in the way it was produced. I don't know, whatever they were using. But I think as far as how why it was influential to me was, it's like, I did like it. I liked it out the gate when I first heard it. Like I think when every kid is like playing guitar a ton and you're like watching hella YouTube videos and then you eventually land on like, oh, who's this guy? People are talking about this guy. He's like Van Halen's favorite and Steve Vai's favorite. But then you listen to it, you're like, oh, this is insane. it's like I don't know if I like this, I think the first time I heard it, I was like 15. And then I had liked a little bit more of his later stuff. It's a little more like synth heavy.
Okay.
But then I think this is one of the albums that I really came back around to, like, I think like 2 or 3 years ago. And I probably listened to it in full probably once a month. Just I think it affected my playing in a way where I was like, dude, you can just play these clusters and they actually sound really good. I'm like, I don't know, something about it. And also it's also his most vocal heavy album, which is not controversial, but I think some people it's not for everybody. Mm-hmm. But I like it more because it seems like it's one of those things where it's I think you always wonder with instrumental songs, did the person writing this have like lyrics in mind, but just not a way to express it or whatever? But I feel like listening to this, you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh, what is every song that he has like got all these lyrics like this? Like I don't know, they all hit. At least to me, I'm listening, I'm like, wow. I'm like, I can only imagine what he's thinking about when there's not vocals on a song.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I know you mentioned that this is the second album of his career. He actually considers this his first.
Yeah.
And the fans do too, because the first album, Velvet Darkness, was released without his consent.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, it consisted of raw, unpolished rehearsal tapes, and then CTI Records just like did it without him.
Just
put it
released it without talking to him.
He didn't want to. He like actively objected to them doing it,
Yeah.
and they did it anyway. So.
Wow. I
Dang
didn't know that.
labels.
I know,
So-
dang labels.
No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
and then like the last track on the album is like a big critique of the music industry, and a lot of people think because of his experience with CTI Records,
Interesting.
that's like part of why he was so cynical about it. Well, even the I.O.U. name is supposed to be like
I.O.U. a first album.
like,
Or, like,
no,
my
it's
first
like
album?
it's like saying like that he was owed, kind of,
Oh,
or the band
like
was owed.
like the label is giving him an IOU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's funny. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I had no idea. What's crazy is that and that album's is that the one it's a bit more is there a bit more like acoustic on? I don't know if you would listen to it, but
I have not listened to it.
I haven't listened
I was trying to
it
remember
either.
the Velvet Darkness. But yeah, I do know it's kind of like second, but I think second like or they'll say it's like his debut or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and I think I actually said it slightly wrong why it's called I.O.U. I think it's more he was cynical about how gigs in the UK, how the band would ultimately end up losing money a lot of the time. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang. Just so for people that haven't heard this album, it's Allan Holdsworth on guitar, and then you got Paul Williams doing vocals, which when I looked that up, I thought that was like, is that Paul Williams, like the American singer who's like on like Daft Punk songs and like kind of actor? It's actually a different Paul Williams, just so you guys know. And then on drums, we got Gary Husband, and then on bass, Paul Carmichael is who is on the album.
Paul Williams is the vocalist.
Yeah.
So apparently that was just like happenstance. Like it was his neighbor across the street when they were making the album.
Oh,
And he was
really?
just like, "Hey, come sing."
Oh, I
I'll
didn't know
say,
that.
Yeah.
as far as I know, I've kind of looked not too deep, but I've looked a little bit. It's like he really didn't. That vocalist really didn't do much other big recording work or anything.
Yeah.
And it's always I feel like it's always a joke of like whenever there's a video of them live, he's like he always just pulls up. He's like, "Dang, they got this guy off a golf course." Like he pulls up with this, like, polo and shorts and he's singing, but I don't
He's
know.
got
It's
kind of
like-
a bluesy voice.
yeah.
Yeah, he must have just had something that Alan saw that he was like, "You'd be perfect."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Court, do you want to talk about your first reaction to listening to this album?
So this is my first exposure to Holdsworth, and I didn't know, like, I didn't look anything up before listening to it, and so the first thing that definitely impacted me was the guitar.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's really cool, and I don't have the technical vocabulary that you guys might have, but I just was really impressed with the guitar. That was the main thing, was my first impression. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the vocals.
Yeah.
Everything else I liked. I liked the drums, I liked the guitar.
Yeah.
It reminded me of some like music that they put on video games. Some of it,
Yeah.
like kind of, I don't know, like those games, like like racing games or like
Yeah.
Sonic or like I don't know,
Cruising USA.
not Sonic.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like yeah,
Yeah. Weston, we asked you to pick what's your top 3 favorite songs on this album. We'll start with you for the top songs.
I think my favorite. It is hard. It's like there's like, I wish I could say 4, but 3 would be. I think my top one, or not top, and not even in order. But I think I would pick the first track, "The Things You See."
When I look at the edge, oh, it scares me.
Letters of Mark. I think it's Letters of Marquis or Letters of Mark. And then the third one may be Checking Out.
You, do you have to toy with a bowling chest in my mind's chaotic lumber room, rattling off its fortune's
But yeah, those 3. I think, I don't know, something about it. And it's like, those songs, I think these songs are too interesting with the, going back to the whole vocal thing, is like, it is crazy how the vocals really only on like a third of the song.
right.
You know, it's like they do the whole jazz. It's like, okay, we're letting go for 4 minutes or whatever. but when it comes back, I think those are kind of the strongest, at least for me, the strongest vocal performances too.
I like the lyrics. Don't get me wrong. I like the lyrics.
The lyrics are good.
Yeah.
Was it Allan that wrote the lyrics then, or?
I do believe that he wrote them.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but
Okay.
I looked it up a little bit. I think he wrote most of them, but
Okay.
I think there was one that I saw somebody else might have written. But anyway, I could double check.
Yeah.
But
What were your top 3 songs, Court?
I'm gonna go with Shallow Sea. Probably. And then like you, the things you see
yeah.
when you don't have your gun. Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
when you don't got your gun.
When you haven't got your gun.
Yeah. Which apparently that's what someone said to them. A remark that somebody, like an old man, said to them while they were like coming out of a pub or something.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know. Yeah. At least that's what I found about it. I don't know how accurate that is. And then probably Where Is One?
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
dude. I love that one.
Yeah, I really like that one. Honestly, that one might be my top out of them. I feel like if you read the lyrics while you're listening to the vocals, it makes me appreciate it more.
Yeah.
I know the vocals are divisive on this record, just because they feel like some people feel like they are like such a too much of a juxtaposition towards like the musical like foundation of everything else, and then I know also just like the way he sounds is a little controversial, but I when I read the lyrics, it makes me appreciate the vocals.
So my 3 favorite, I think Where Is One is my favorite. I like the A part. That melody is super catchy, and that one was actually the one that like got stuck in my head the most, I think. Second, I'd go with Letters from Marquis. I really like that. I like the melody on that one, and I also really love the drum solo at the end of the song.
Yeah.
That drum solo is sick, which is probably, that's why I picked it. And then The last one, I'm gonna go with White Line. I just like the chorus that they keep repeating at the end of the song. That one's also catchy. That's the only song I picked with vocals in it. Similar to you, Court. The vocals were difficult for me. They're kind of like I don't know. They're kind of cheesy a little bit, but I understand that the lyrics. Yeah, when you actually read them, I think they do make sense. But just like
The delivery.
the delivery is just interesting. I actually had heard this album before. Tate actually he recommended it to me. He's like, you should listen to this guy, Allan's, and I had never heard of him before. And he was like, listen to I.O.U. And so I remember I tried listening to it, and then I just like, I don't even know if I made it all the way through. And I
Because
just,
of the vocals.
I just stopped. I'm glad that you picked it though, Weston, because I was like, I'm gonna listen to the whole thing.
Well, and you said like you really like Van Halen,
Yeah.
right? And Van Halen, when he talks about Holdsworth,
Yeah.
says like he was the first guitarist who did something that left me going, now how did he do that? So I think that's pretty cool.
That
That's
is
cool.
cool. He definitely has his own style, and the one thing I do like I like that the even though this was released in the 80s, I like that there's no gated reverb.
Yeah.
And I like that it doesn't sound like 80s.
Yeah.
Like he made it sound like in some sense like a traditional jazz album.
Yeah.
I do really I like his how he does swells. His guitar
Yeah.
swells are really cool. Just like the chordal stuff that he does with the swells is awesome. His solos are really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, his like the chord changes on some of these songs are pretty wild, and they're like something that's another thing I will give him props to is just his creativity and how the chord changes. They're like something that I would never think to do, or like when you're listening to it for the first time, it kind of catches you off guard a little bit, and then as you listen to it, you start appreciating it more and more.
Yeah.
I could see this being something that I would come back to. Like I said, though, the vocals are just something that maybe I need to listen to it more to get the vocals. But, I mean, Weston, you even said that this was like an album that you didn't get right off the bat either.
Yeah. It took me a minute.
Yeah.
I think it was like, I think it's one of those things where, I mean, I don't know. I think if it's good, obviously. But it's also like, there is sort of a like, I always wonder if I don't really remember hearing it for the first time as much as I do with the second time, where it's like, maybe at that point my ears were a little more trained as far as listening to a lot more jazz and being more familiar with stuff even if you were to take like the drumming alone on this album, it'd be like, oh, this is very not this is just like way more traditional jazz record than it is most of the things that I grew up listening to. But yeah, I do love it a lot. But
it's also impressive that you like listened to it when you were like in your teens.
Yeah,
that's
that is impressive.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That's like when you hear about
tried.
a kid, like a kid reading like the classics when they're young or something.
Yeah.
I think to get into that, it was like, I think part of it was my guitar teacher was like, he's like a prog metal guy. And so he was really big into like Dream Theater and, like the really big names there. And like my brother got way deep into that. And I think honestly, he was really good, I feel like, about giving us things to be like, dude, you should listen to this. Tell me what you think. It's like, if you want to learn how to sweep pick, go listen to. He's like always kind of giving us listening material, not just practice, which I think has always been good.
I have a question for you guys, musicians. What I should know this. My orchestra teacher, Mr. Hansen, would probably be kicking me. What's the legato?
Legato.
It says he uses that a lot in his.
It's just kind of like legato is kind of just like not blending your notes together, but like let's say you're just doing like a solo or like a single note thing.
Yeah,
you're not playing chords. It's like basically just how long those notes go into each other. So like they praise his legato because a lot of times you can't tell when he's like picking the notes between or like it's very
on the fretboard you're sliding. You can slide in and out of the frets depending on like how light you can press on the fretboard, and
Well, and I know that he was inspired a lot by saxophone.
the saxophone.
Yeah, the way he plays, which I think you can pick up on that.
Yeah, I think especially in like his lead tone, like especially in his solos, it's like he's kind of doing these weird intervals that are not very normal on guitar, but like would probably be a little more normal on a saxophone.
Yeah.
And honestly, his tone too, it's like very just like it's just like loud, but also I don't know how to describe it. Like it's like the most distorted you can get without just being insane. Like it's like just distorted enough where like everything he plays is like so smooth. Like I don't know how to describe it.
and
really,
he does have like a nice whatever his delay settings are. He's got a nice like kind of delay that really it's not too strong. But I think that also might be something that helps him with his legato stuff too, is some of the delay in some of the parts of the songs that he's playing.
I did want to say a couple of things before we transition to the next album, but one thing I wanted to say is I almost chose Letters of Mark, or Marquis, or however you say it.
I think it's Marquis, but yeah.
And apparently that name comes from historical government licenses where they authorized privateers to commit piracy.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's cool. But that's not why I almost chose it. The reason I almost chose it actually was the drum solo.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I picked it.
Yeah,
I love
the
that.
drum solo is crazy. And very cool.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Level 42 at all. This is a total side note then, but they were like also really big in the 80s, like European jazz funk. Like if you ever heard of Mark King, he's like slap bass legend. But he was the drummer in that band. So it's just kind of funny. It's like it feels like this kind of like, oh, Level 42 was his like poppier thing, and they still got like really funky and whatever. It's like the time of funk, and like, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire is like big already and stuff like that. But then you have him in this project where it's like, it's just insane how diverse that guy is. Like the longer that I've like looked into the people that have played with him, like Gary Husband is like unreal, but just like I don't know. I do love the drumming on this album, but it is funny to listen to like Level 42 because it's so much poppier, but it's so cool too. Yeah. And then Allan Holdsworth played in Level 42 for like a year, and then I think it was maybe a little bit. It was like a little too much. I think he helped him write like one album, and that album's like not on streaming anymore. And but I don't know. But anyway,
yeah. The other thing I was gonna say about Shallow Sea, it has like a 4-chorus guitar solo that it builds to, and I just like that a lot. And then one thing that I was going to talk about was, this is going to be a key distinction with the other album, even though they're like both jazz fusion and have improvisation and stuff. So this one, and I think in general, his music in general, but I know on this album at least, they were very like meticulous about like crafting the like architecture of the music, like all the different, like the arrangement and the structure around it, and then creating like it's very chordal and like they would that was all very, very like planned ahead.
Yeah.
But then the part that wasn't was they basically were using that as the launching off point for the improvised solos. And so it was like, I thought that was very different than the album we'll talk about, but the other album. But I think that makes it a little more accessible in a way. Because it feels more like a built thing, like a, you know what I mean? But it still allows for the improvisation. Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's kind of not be like, that's why I chose this one, but I think the further you dive into his music, the more kind of less of that structure you see. Where it's like, that's one thing I do really love about this album is like, I think the parts that are structured and like, because the solos on this album are unreal, but I think honestly why I love this the most is those chordal kind of like verse sections, you could say, or chorus or whatever. But it's like, those parts are like so catchy for being so like out the, the chord change you hear like, what the, but it's like, I think I think the first time or the second time or third time I heard it, it was like, it was really surprising how much that those parts of the song get stuck in my head. Where it's like later on in his life, it was like these kind of beginning to end different structure throughout the whole thing, kind of like pieces. Versus this feels a little more poppy in a way of structure, where I feel like it's a little more palatable.
You know what? Like when I was listening to this album, you know what album it reminded me of? It reminded me of the episode we did with Izzy.
That's what it reminded me of.
What's his name? Nick.
Synth pop.
What's his name? Nick
Kershaw.
Nick Kershaw. Have you ever listened to Nick Kershaw?
Yes, dude. I love Nick Kershaw. Also very adjacent to Level 42.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Like that's like same time period and very similar music as well.
I mean, they're different genres for sure.
Yeah.
But like,
So, like,
I see what you mean.
We did an previous episode where we talked about a Nick Kershaw album. Yeah, and it very
Riddle.
much it makes me think of this in a way because of the chord changes, but then also like the melodies that he sings over it. But then also but then it gets stuck in your head because it's catchy because it's so weird. And like that was another album that like took me a minute to kind of get into. Yeah. But then I kind of appreciate it. So yeah, that's kind of, I was thinking that like Nick Kershaw, it kind of reminds me of it. But
whatever was in the water in Europe, dude, at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's a song off that album, off Riddle. I don't know this song. I think it's called Know How, but it's like the last like minute, just the chord changes. It's like for real. I think every time I hear it, I'm like, dude, how did he get away with that? That's so cool.
They are cool. I remember that.
Yeah, I think we specifically talk about that in the podcast. So if
That's
people
cool
are curious,
that came up.
if anyone's curious, you guys can go back and listen to that. We interviewed our friend Izzy, and she picked that album. So
yeah, that was cool. Okay, I lied. I have two more quick facts.
Okay,
that I think you'll think are interesting. Holdsworth funded the album's mixing by selling most of his guitars.
Oh, dang.
Yep. And he sold copies of the album out of the trunk of his car at gigs and via mail order.
Nice.
And then
DIY, baby.
Yeah, and then
it seems like the most DIY you can get for. It's like I would never think the jazz guy would be doing that.
I know, yeah.
And then the last thing I thought was kind of interesting was they recorded it in a boat.
What?
Oh,
I didn't know that.
And there was like no room. They said the bassist was literally basically in the boat bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And
It says it was recorded on the barge in London, in the London canals.
yep.
Wow,
So-
I did not know. That's way cool. Well, maybe
Yeah,
that
so-
added some shimmery with the water. Maybe that's the magic. there.
Well, I mean, you have Letters of Marquis, which is a pirate song, and then you have the Wave. What is it called? The one I chose.
Where's one?
Shallow Sea.
Oh wait, the Shallow Sea. Shallow Sea. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So, and that one I know was inspired by looking at the ocean. But anyway, okay,
That's cool.
I'm done saying random facts.
No, you're good.
There's a lot of there's so many YouTube videos that I've watched. It's just like an hour of just whatever footage you can find of that guy, and there's a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, yeah.
The other thing I was going to say about this album is when I listened to it, I was like, oh yeah, I can see why Tate likes this album. It's very, like, I can tell, just because, like, Tate's style of playing, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I can definitely tell that he's inspired by this guy, too. Well, that was, like, the other thing I wanted to say, so.
I think that was, or sorry, I think that was one of the early, like, connections me and Tate made where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I understand you. It's like you also really like this thing. He is kind of one of those artists where it's like you meet someone that's really into him, and it's like, oh, finally. It's like I feel like I try. I just throw this album at everyone I know, and if it sticks, it's like, oh, we're alike.
An instant connection. Yeah, that's awesome. Was there anything else that you wanted to share about this album, Weston, before we move on?
I don't know. I can't think of anything right now other than
Okay.
it's very beautiful, and if you haven't listened to it, you should listen and go on a nice walk. I think that's
Yes.
I think that's my favorite way to listen to it.
That's a good reminder. So everyone that hasn't checked this album out, go and listen to it.
And don't let our hedging about the vocalist steer
Yeah.
you away.
Yeah,
I think
just-
a lot of people would like it.
Decide
Some
for
people
yourself.
sometimes I like it. I think if you like are a Toto guy, if you like Toto or something, it kind of reminds me of that like 80s power vocal. I think that's kind of what made it
I can
make more sense.
That makes
to
me like it more. Yeah.
So for the podcast, I decided to pair. There's this band called SML. They're a jazz group out of LA, and I picked their album Spontaneous Music Live. They just came out with it this year. It is on a label called International Anthem, and you guys should go check out all the other artists that are on that label. They're doing really cool stuff. This was recorded at a venue in LA called Zebulon, and they recorded this December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of last year. And they recorded, mixed it live direct to tape. And that was done by a guy named Bryce Gonzalez. On the record, you have Anna Bertrus, who plays bass, Jeremiah Chu, who's on like synth and electronics. You got Josh Johnson on saxophone, Booker Stardom on drums, and Gregory Ullman on guitar. Interesting fact, Booker Stardom, the drummer, he is the drummer of one of my favorite bands, Horse Lords. So if you've ever heard of Horse Lords, he's the drummer on that. This group, they came out with an album last year that was it was more like structured and written out, and I liked it, but I really liked this album a lot. There's only 2 songs on the album. There's a song called The Drums, and then the B-side is Roundabouts. They're around a little more than 20 minutes per side. But yeah, both of these tracks are all improvised. I know that they went through the 3 days that they recorded this album and kind of picked the best takes to release. But the one thing I'll say about it is I like that there's a ton of restraint on this album. And that is one of the reasons why I picked it. Not saying that Allan is like, trying to show off with his guitar playing, but it's very, he's going pretty crazy.
He's at
like,
4.
he's really like he's really showing what he can do, which is awesome. So that's why I chose this album, is I wanted to kind of contrast it with another side of jazz fusion where there's a lot of constraint or restraint, I should say. And when I say restraint, I'm saying that the players are choosing not to play anything too intricate. And it's cool listening to this album because everyone, pretty much for the most part, is playing their instruments like kind of like drums. Like they're being very rhythmic with what they're playing. There's not really a lot of crazy notes, but it's all very rhythmic based. And it's also cool. I was reading some interviews on the band, and they talked about how when they perform live, or when they performed these songs live, they would start out with an idea, and then they would kind of go with it, and they would let it sit, and they wouldn't change. And even if somebody was kind of trying to pull it somewhere else, everybody else would kind of pull it back, and there was kind of a back and forth. So even if there is change in the song, it's very subtle. I've always been a huge fan of krautrock, like Can, and those German bands where you're kind of playing the same thing the whole time, but there is all these like subtleties that kind of show up. And that's why I really like this album. And I've listened to it a lot. And I even bought the record.
Hey,
so I have
nice.
I have it on vinyl because I liked it that much. And it's probably going to be in my top 10 albums of the year.
Wow. Nice.
I've listened to it. I've listened to it a lot. And I actually, how I discovered it is I actually just saw like a clip. They like recorded, I think they videoed some of this, and they shared it, and it just popped up on Instagram. That's how I heard about it. Never heard of them before. But the other thing I was going to say is for the podcast, I re-listened to it again, and I was home alone listening to it, like just cleaning the house, and for some reason this hasn't happened. This hasn't happened for a while, but I got emotional.
Oh wow.
There was something I can't even describe. I'm getting emotional now thinking about it. I don't know what it was. I think it was like I think it's just because like the world right now is so crazy and there's a lot of uncertainty. But for some reason, like this song to me just exudes joy in like I feel like that's
Roundabouts.
like the best way to say it. It like exudes joy, and I like because there's so much restraint. There's also like this weird release that happens in like these like small moments. And I don't know. I got teary-eyed listening to it for some reason.
That's really
which
cool.
I think is super cool that like music can do that, especially like instrumental music.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go off the bat and say the drums. That's my favorite track on the album. That's the one that kind of got me emotional.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the first like 10 minutes of it. I just really like it. And I like Roundabouts too, but I'm going to go with the drums as my favorite track.
Well, that's
So-
really cool, man. That's really cool. I know that this band, they're a quintet, right? They get a lot of praise for being able to improvise together in a way where they're actively really playing, but also kind of waiting
Yeah.
and responding to each other a lot, and like it's very democratic. Like that's what they get praised for a lot, is like how everyone who's playing in the group is so tuned in
Yeah.
to what the other people are doing, and I think that's really cool. And yeah, that's cool that you had that.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I want to say Booker, like the drummer, he's just like on another level.
Yeah.
He's so unique of a drummer, like the choices he makes, just the colors of the drumming. I really like Josh Johnson. I love that he uses a ton of like pedals with his saxophone. Gets some really interesting colors. The one person that I think is like the most subtle on this album is the guitar player, Gregory Ullman. It's like his guitar work, it's like you don't even know he's there, but he's doing like these very, and so that's one of the reasons why I've been like listening to it again and again. Is like I have been trying to focus on like, hey, what is he doing like on the guitar? Because he's like so subtle.
Well, it's not
with what he's-
spotlighted.
Yeah,
it's
it's-
not. It's
Yeah.
like
he's doing very minimal stuff.
it's like he's
but-
responding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
like,
a
it's
lot
not-
of guitarists, everyone responds to the guitars.
Right, because it's like a solo instrument.
Yeah.
And anyway, yeah, I just think everybody on this album is so cool. They're like so unique in how they play, and then like Jeremiah, like with using. If you actually look at the photos of him like playing, he's got like a Moog, and he's actually like he's got all these like. It's like all these wires. Like he's actually doing an old school like patching.
Oh, nice.
in.
All that. Oh,
Like-
nice.
Like that must be so stressful for him. I don't know how he does it, but like anyway, all the stuff that he's doing on electronics is super cool. Anyway, I'll let you guys talk about what your thoughts were when you first listened to it. But yeah, I guess those were all my main thoughts on the album. Yeah, I kind of just
No, it was good.
no,
man.
it was cool.
I just threw all that up. What was your first initial thoughts on it, Weston?
I think I had never heard of this, but I listened to it I think 3 or 4 times over the last few days. And I think the first time I listened to it maybe was like the wrong setting where I had it like I was like trying to do it with headphones, but I think I was playing a game. And I was like, okay, sometimes that's my favorite, and then sometimes that's the worst because I can't really focus. But I think, honestly, once I got like 10 minutes in, I was like, okay, I need to try this another time. But what I did really like what you're saying is the restraint thing. And I was reminded, I saw a picture of the cover and the bassist. Was it Anna
Burgess.
Burgess? I had just seen her play in Jeff Parker just released a live album like a few months ago, and that was also not the first time I'd heard something like this, but it reminded me a ton of that. Where it was like, and I think maybe the saxophonist maybe also plays on that.
Yeah, he's also in the same group, which that's another, like that was another one I was actually debating on. He just came out with an album called Happy Now, which is also 2 songs. Also, they're also just very similar. They're all improvised. It's kind of like this like weird like LA.
Who is this?
Like this is Jeff Parker. He's a guitar player in LA. It's kind of like this LA scene that's going on right now. Yeah, and like they're all kind of playing together. Like everything Jeff Parker does is amazing too. I love his style and his playing. But yeah, that's cool that you recognize that. Yeah, it's the same 2 people that are in Jeff Parker's band.
I think my favorite was also the drums. I think listening to it, I think the second time I was listening to it, I was just sitting down and kind of like the last third of that song when they have their climax moment and then it comes into like the altar. It's almost like this other synth melody that they start.
Yeah, they like kind of change. It becomes kind of a different song and it doesn't last too long.
It's like, it's like 3 minutes or something.
Which compared to the whole song it's like a very short like little snippet thing that they do, which that's kind of an interesting thing that they kept that in there.
When you told me, you're like, it's 2 songs, so you can just pick one. I remember I put it on, I was like, oh shit, they're like 20 minutes. Or each where I almost was like bummed. I was like, damn, like if I gotta just pick one song, I feel bad recommending a song with like or an album with 8 songs, but then okay, no, we're about equal time or whatever. But no, I did really like it, and it kind of exactly what you're saying before, where I don't know if it's technically a new style, but I do feel like I've been hearing it a lot lately where it's these like they're looping these, or there is like variation in it, but it's like it feels like this like 10-minute loop of like people kind of like slowly coming in and out and then in and out, and you kind of like especially the way this was mixed too. Once I listened to it on some like nice headphones, it's like, oh, this is over on the left side for like a minute, and he's kind of not soloing, but he's like adding just enough variation. And then all these kind of songs, I feel like I mean, it's kind of almost the opposite of the Holdsworth stuff, where it's like you listen for 10 minutes and then you hit this moment of like everyone is together for like 3 minutes for this like climax moment, versus like everyone's together, and then there's like break for 3, and then they come back at the end or something. Yeah. Which is like, I think both are like almost just as satisfying, where you're like, I'm not that I'm like waiting for it the whole time, but it's like, you'll be like 15 minutes, and you're like, oh my, I'm like so locked into this. I'm like lost in this song, and they just like locked in together for 2 minutes, and it was very beautiful. That was like another thing on the Jeff Parker album too, where I feel like I would be like 20 minutes in, I'm like, what they just barely got to the part of the song that I'm like most excited about. But I would have listened to the whole thing, to get here. Yeah. But yeah, I think like both songs are really good. Yeah, very slow burn, but very like the way they do it is very methodical. And like, I haven't seen a video of this live, but I watched the like short film or whatever of the Jeff Parker one, and like I would assume it's a similar process where it's like they're all just sitting in a circle watching each other, and then like I don't know who's cueing who, but then all of a sudden they're just like the drums will kick in a little bit more, and everyone starts playing a little bit harder, and then it comes back. I don't know. It is really fun to watch, and I assume it'd be really fun to play with too. Like if I was that good, I assume it'd be like one of the most fun groups to be in. Yeah, that's. But it was really cool. The synth stuff was really cool because there's not really any of that. Like I was really surprised by how much I loved the synth stuff. Yeah. Where I feel like jazz and synth is like it can either be not to say jazz and synth can't work, because all the legends have done it, but it's like sometimes all I can think about is a synth. But I think it was the same thing where I think what they did really well was like, it's like nothing, like you were saying with the guitar, where it's like it's not like I can't tell what he's doing, but nothing is really the huge spotlight. If anything, for me, I felt like the spotlight was kind of the bassist a little bit, where like her kind of like it's this kind of like walking thing the whole time. it's like that and the drums you can really just like focus on.
Yeah, the rhythm section.
Yeah, and they're all, like you said, everyone's playing very rhythmically as well. It's like everything's aligned in that way. But I did really like it. I thought it was a really cool album.
And I just one other thing I will say is like, and I think I kind of already said it, but just like how talented, like you have to be super talented to be like what Allan's doing, like going full on, but then you also have to be like so talented to like have that much restraint, and it's like it's super hard to do that, and like how the fact that they're playing these songs for 20 minutes, it's maybe some people might find it boring, but like every time I listen to it, I'm like, this is crazy that they just improvised all this, and it's like so beautiful and like so human. I think that's maybe another reason why like made me emotional. It's like so human that like, especially with like all the AI stuff right now, but it's like it's so human. Like these are humans playing together in a room, like watching each other, like so connected. And then I just think it was recorded so well that it's like I felt like I'm there every time I listened to it. So anyway, that was my other thought I was going to say.
Yeah. For me, I was kind of going to respond to something that you said. I kind of, when you were saying like the bass is kind of the thing that you kind of keyed in on, I felt like that more for the second song a little bit more. I mean, definitely I think they go by they, them.
Yeah.
Oh,
They provide a, I feel like they provide
a backbone.
a backbone.
Yeah. To everything. Yeah.
But on this track, I mean, obviously the drums are at the forefront initially a lot, and then I like I know that people talk about it being a duel between the saxophonist and the synth player, and I'll be honest, I spent more time listening to the other album, but I definitely want to give this album a more thorough listen. I also liked Roundabouts a lot, though.
Is that the one you're going to pick?
Did you think I would?
Well, I don't know. It sounded like you were about to say that, yeah.
I think I do like Roundabouts.
That one's a great song, too.
Yeah. I feel like it was a slower burn, and the bass line is really cool in it. I felt like it just was kind of like the thing that kind of pierced through everything for me. I'm a sucker for the saxophone as well, just in general. I almost played the saxophone when I was younger. Ultimately, I went with the cello, but
Oh, nice.
yeah. It was between those two, and then I feel like the thing that I think is cool about this album, like the coolest thing for me, and I think you talked about this when you were talking about like krautrock, but like how they will hone in on a single musical idea, like whether it's a motif or whatever, a certain part, and they'll kind of just repeat it. But the part that's cool is that within that there are these kind of spontaneous, like emergent things that happen, and I just think that those like nuances and subtleties and like emergent moments are worth the slow burn and worth the repeated like krautrock part. I'm not as much of a krautrock guy in general, but like with this I definitely appreciated that. Like yeah,
the subtleties are the things that are like so exciting, and I haven't been this excited about like an album in a while. So that's why, I don't know, I really, for some reason, this album just hit me in a certain way. And I'm like, oh, this is just so exciting. And it's like, oh, this would be so cool to play in a band like this and make music like this. That's like, where everybody's like on that level that they can just like watch each other and like really listen to each other. And that is what a lot of jazz is. So yeah, these guys, kudos to these guys.
Yeah.
These guys are just so talented. I would love to go see them perform live. I bet it's wild.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
I did want to say a couple of like interesting things that I thought were interesting from my research. So I know you really appreciated the synth more than you generally do with like jazz. And I don't know what this term means, but people say that, is it Chew? Is that how you say
Jeremiah.
it? Yeah, that he kind of, what he does is like Kraftwerk-esque.
Oh, cool.
And what does that mean?
So Kraftwerk was this band back in the like 70s. They actually started out as a krautrock band, but then they went more like synth heavy. Every member in the band played synth, and it's like all synth and drum machine based. And they were like one of the first people to like use like synths, like Moogs and stuff like that. Like kind of really big pioneers in that world. So if you're interested, you can go listen back to some
Kraftwerk is cool.
Kraftwerk. Yeah.
Yeah. Another fact that I thought was interesting was Anna started out playing the flute.
Oh, cool.
But then when they were pretty young, they started playing the upright bass.
I saw somewhere that they play for Phoebe Bridgers,
Yeah.
which I was like, that's wild.
Yeah, they do tour with like some big names. Yeah, I did see that.
Oh, speaking of that, the guitarist has collabed with a band I like, Perfume Genius.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What was the name of the band?
Perfume Genius.
Perfume Genius.
Yeah. And then one thing that I thought was worth mentioning was, I guess most of their prior releases they've all been improvised, right? But they've been like carefully selected moments from their live sets. And so then they release them as like individual tracks, the moments, which is cool. I know that has been compared to Tio Macero's legendary tape splicing of Miles Davis's Electric Period and the studio alchemy of German experimentalists can.
They take you on a journey. So if you guys haven't listened to this album, go out and listen to it. Mm-hmm. I highly recommend it. It's something that definitely scratches something in my brain that I was like, oh yeah, this is something that I really like. So
I would recommend it. Yeah. Oh, I did want to ask you. I know we're like over, but I did want to ask you, what are your favorite GameCube games?
Dude. Okay, yeah. I was like, this is the real question.
Yeah.
Favorite GameCube games ever? I can do 5 maybe. I think top 1, Custom Robo. This is like the one I honestly think is like huge inspo. A lot of people don't know this game, but it's like a mech fighting game.
Oh, cool.
But all the music is very like drum and bass. But also a lot of fusion stuff. That's the cool thing about the like GameCube era. Whoever was doing all the soundtracks at Nintendo at that time, it's all fusion stuff. That I would say Twilight Princess, Legend of Zelda. I played a ton of Smash Melee, Super Smash Bros.
Oh yeah.
F-Zero GX is like the most schizo racing game I've ever played. It's like the whole joke is that game is like too fast for how they programmed it. It's like too fast, so you're just like running into walls the whole time. And then I'll just say those. I think those are my favorite.
That's awesome. What
about you? Do you have any? Were you a GameCube guy?
My grandparents had, at first they had an NES.
Oh yeah.
And then they got a GameCube later. And whenever I'd go up and visit them, I just remember in their loft they had this GameCube, and we'd go and play. But
I remember the only GameCube game I ever played was the Starsky and Hutch game.
Hey, dude.
They based it off of the Ben Stiller movie with Owen Wilson. They made a game of that, and I remember playing that at my cousin's house because they had one, and that was the game we always played.
I think the GameCube game I played was Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, okay, that's my number 5. That's my
Really?
number
Oh, is that where he
That's
has like
like-
the water pack?
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, the jetpack,
Yeah.
But mostly at my grandparents' house, I'd go up there
Flood.
and play their old Donkey Kong game.
Donkey Kong 64, like
no,
the
no,
OG,
like the one.
the arcade one.
No, it was after the arcade one. But no,
wait,
it
on
was
the
Donkey
NES?
Kong Country. It was Donkey Kong Country.
Okay, yeah, Donkey Kong Country. Yeah.
So they
yeah.
must have had a N64 as well.
That-
But
I think they have Donkey Kong 64, and then on the NES or maybe it's the SNES, they had Donkey Kong Country like 1 through 4 or whatever. But those are so awesome.
yeah, and
Soundtracks too are amazing.
that
Holy.
soundtrack impacted me a lot when I was young. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh, so great. I mean, honestly, I can put it on now and be happy, right? So, yeah, cool.
Thanks for being on, Weston. We really
Of course.
appreciate your time. Thanks for making music. I do enjoy your guitar, the videos you post.
Thank you.
You're a very, very unique guitar player.
Do you post them on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually on Instagram, and then after we get the album out, it'll be documented. It'll be locked down.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks again. You're just an awesome guy, and I was excited to have you on. So,
Thank you.
people
You guys as well.
Go check out Weston's music. Go check out Genki and everybody at our records.
Yeah.
It's great
Hey.
to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. We'll see you later, Weston. Bye.
Later.